G'day Supercoaches and welcome back to another video. I'm Supercoach Reaper, also known as Scott, and in this video I'll be giving you my team update number 2. I recently did one a couple of weeks ago, so if you haven't seen that, you can go back and check that out before watching this one. But after we just witnessed the pre-season games on the weekend, I've decided to make a few changes which include plenty of rookies. So like last video, we'll start off with the backline in the defenders, and my first pick will be Jakey Lloyd at 656,400. He didn't play on the weekend, and you can see he's got a little injury sign, knee, subject to fitness test. I'm pretty sure he'll be right by round 1, so I've got no concerns whatsoever. I do believe he'll finish as the highest ranking defender. He is very expensive, but I believe he's worth the price. I missed out on him last year and I don't want to miss out again, so I'm just starting him from the start. Next up we have Rory Laird, who scored 100 Supercoach points on the weekend. He had 10 tackles and 21 disposals, I believe, so he looked really good as an inside midfielder, so there's no concerns with him at all. He's at 46% ownership at the moment, which is quite high, and I think that's probably the highest in the backline. Bit surprising, but he will be very good this year. And now I've got Jaden Short. Now I know I just posted a video yesterday where I said I didn't have Short in my team just yet, but overnight I've just taken him into more consideration, and at 519,000 and a whopping 163 Supercoach points on the weekend, I can't resist him. He's now up to 25% ownership. Now that was 17% when I made my video yesterday, and it was about 6%, maybe a bit lower, about a week ago before he played on Friday night, so he's really elevated his ownership there, but it's quite understandable. Now for the rookies, we have Jordan Butts, who played the entire game on the weekend and looked pretty good. Tommy Doherty didn't play on the weekend, so he may take his spot, but I don't think he will. He's more of a key defender, where Doherty's more of like an intercept defender. He's in 2% ownership, and I really enjoyed his game on the weekend. And next we have Kasich. Oh, I probably should spell it right. How do we spell that? There we go. Jacob Kasich from Hawthorne kicked 6 snags playing against North Melbourne and was very dominant. He's up to 39% ownership, and he should get a round 1 berth with the Hawks looking for a key forward this season. And then we have Highmore, who played the second half for St Kilda on the weekend. It was pretty impressive. He's courageous, he's good in the air, and he's pretty effective by foot. He should get some pretty early game time, I think, and I can expect a round 1 debut from him. And then we just have Harry Sharp from Brisbane, who also played the second half, I believe. Still in school, remarkably, doing year 12, but he was pretty impressive. He kicked a goal and had around 10 disposals. So I like his game, and he's also got defender mid eligibility, which is always a plus. And then I've just got Chug Isaac, who didn't play on the weekend, of course, but he would be my loophole, who's a defender forward option as well, so that's also a positive. Now if we head to the midfield, I've still got my first pick at Lachie Neale at 721,000. Scored 105 Supercoach points on the weekend, had 25 disposals, in second gear I believe. He'll be the highest scoring midfielder this year in my opinion. He's at 45% ownership, which I think that was a bit higher before he played on the weekend, so people have jumped off already, which is a good sign. Good sign for me. Now I've added Jack Steele. He's been my recent addition over the past couple of days. He had 6 tackles, 27 disposals, and just over 100 Supercoach points, and was pretty impressive on the weekend, but he looks to be a solid pick after averaging 122 last season. I have replaced him with Patrick Cripps, who was quite disappointing on the weekend, and in my recent video yesterday I did say he had a turning circle of a freight train, so I don't think the new rules are going to help him at all, so I've decided to jump off early and I'll just wait and see how he goes throughout the year. Next up we have Clayton Oliver, who didn't play due to general soreness. He should be right to go for round 1, so no concerns there. He's down to 21% ownership after being at around 25% ownership, so I hope that continues to drop. He's very consistent, he's durable, and he posts some big scores throughout the year, so I'm very happy to pick Clayton Oliver for my 4th year in a row. And Jack Mccrae, he had 158 Supercoach points, 37 disposals, dominant. And like I've been saying, he will play inside and outside, a bit of a blend. He won't really play forward at all. He's probably the safest doggies midfielder in my opinion, because that's where his best position is. He doesn't kick many goals, so he can't really move forward like Bontempelli can, or Bailey Smith, who's also pretty handy at hitting the scoreboard. Smith will be pushed out to a wing with Hunter, and when Treloar comes back, Treloar and Liberatore probably start around half forward and then drift into the contest. But I believe Mccrae, Bontempelli and Dunkley will be the starting trio this season in the midfield for the Dogs. And for my next premium, I've got Zach Merritt, who had 127 Supercoach points on the weekend and plenty of disposals. He's a ball magnet, just finds the pill at will pretty easily. I can see him averaging 31 disposals somewhere around this year and probably around 115 Supercoach points again, like he did last season, which was his best so far throughout his career. He's at 18% ownership, which is quite high. It's probably the highest he's been in his whole career, actually. He's always been around 7 to 10%, and he's always been one of those picks you like to have because he's a bit of a point of difference. But this year, doesn't seem very likely. Maybe I've talked him up too much in my previous videos, or he's just playing too good a football over the preseason to not pick him. So, good on him. And now for the rookies, I've got Braden Campbell, who scored around 85 points. He's at 40% ownership. He's a lethal left foot kick, and he played off half back. He might play through the midfield a little bit, but he'll set up the play from the back 50 because he's just a brilliant kick of the footy. He's smart, he's a good decision maker, and he should get plenty of game time this year. And then we have Tom Powell, who had 16 disposals in the first half on the weekend. He looked pretty comfortable playing a high half forward. He is a midfielder, but he's a smart footballer. He just reads the play well. He knows where to position himself to win the football. He's going to be a ball magnet in the next few years, but he just needs to develop his upper body a bit, his strength, so he can compete with the bigger bodies of the competition. But he should play plenty of senior football this year. I'm excited to see what he can provide with us. And then we have Errol Gooden. He played a small forward and kicked a goal or two on the weekend, 30% ownership. He should get some early game time as well. And if our game off the weekend is anything to go off, he would definitely play round one. He was just as dominant as Chad Warner and Braden Campbell as a rookie, so he's a pretty safe pick for the midfield. And then we have Downey, who was okay. He didn't score too well, but he did find plenty of the ball, which is good on the wing, and he looked pretty comfortable at the level. So I think Hawthorne will be wanting to get more games into him. They won't be too competitive this year, in my opinion, so it's a good time to do it. James Jordan, I've got there from Melbourne at the moment. He's 123,000. I think it's his third year. And Oliver and Viney weren't there on the weekend, of course, so that's probably why he did play the majority of the game. Well, all the game, mind you. But he looked pretty good. He didn't score too well either, but I like what I saw from him. And if he's playing round one, then I'm pretty happy to put him on my bench. And then we have Scott from the Doggies. He's just been added to the Doggies senior list, 102,000. So they're the players we want to pick, especially if they're going to play round one. He kicked the goal. They need a small forward up there for the Dogs. He looks to be the man. I'm not sure what's going on with Kavara at the moment, but Scott looked pretty good, and I think he would debut round one. We'll head to the rucks now. I've still got Gawn and Grundy. It's pretty simple. Gawn scored a low 100 pre-season, no concerns there either. Grundy was pretty dominant, had 118 Supercoach points, 18 disposals and 30 odd hitouts, so he was really good. And now I've put it in Hunter, who has been confirmed as a debutant for round one yesterday on AFL 360, I believe. 102,000. No rider, who's got some problems at the moment, is taking some time away from the club. And Rowan Marshall, who does have an injury at the moment. Hunter should get, I don't know, the first 6 games, hopefully. So I'm picking him over Meek at the moment from Fremantle, who a lot of people have, and probably Flynn and Briggs from GWS, but that may change. If we go to our forward line, I've got Patrick Dangerfield. He had a really good first half on the weekend. I was quite impressed. He's playing through the midfield again where he does play his best football. He didn't play that much forward, but he kind of drifted away in the second half. I'm not sure if that was the plan, to go kind of hard at the start and taper off towards the end, but he had 95 or so Supercoach points and plenty of disposals. He's still in 44% of teams, which is what to expect. 611,000 is pretty expensive. I have been considering downgrading Danger to Butters, who is 471,000, and I've been raving about him for the last few weeks in plenty of my previous videos. He had 127 Supercoach points on the weekend, 20 odd disposals and kicked a goal, and still only 6% of teams, so that may change. Something that could possibly happen if I downgrade Dangerfield to Butters and then maybe upgrade Jaden Short to Luke Ryan, who is a bit of a point of difference option in 7% of teams. So that is probably the likely thing that may change within the next 5 to 7 days, but we'll just wait and see. Josh Dunkley, 560,000, 32% ownership, 170 Supercoach points for the weekend. Absolutely contested ball. I've raved about him enough. He's the best inside player at the Dogs, and he's the guy who wins at the ground level and then pops it out to the outside to Bontempelli, Mccrae, Bailey Smith, Hunter. It's simple as that. He won't play the majority of minutes forward. He's the best at doing what he does at the Dogs. So he's got that inside midfield role penciled in. Even when Treloar comes in, don't question it. It's just going to happen. Impey, I've had him all pre-season. He was okay. He only had the 40 Supercoach points in the first half. Didn't play the second half due to precautionary, I believe. 14% ownership. I don't know if I should go down Impey route or the Zeeble route. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure I have the cash to get Zeeble in, but that may change as well. Now we've got Chad Warner, 144,000, second, third year. He was an absolute pig when he was playing for Western Australia in his draft year. He's a contested ball winner. He looks to have improved his fitness. He looks slimmer. He's still quite strong, and he was playing throughout that Sydney's midfield. I like the look of him. Some Sydney fans have said that he won't play that much, but I'm willing to take the risk. His pre-season game was pretty impressive, so we just have to pick him. So Warner comes in there, and then we have Miles Bergman, who was drafted as a forward from the Sandy Dragons a few years ago, I'm pretty sure. He was really good in the air, but he played a bit off half-back for Port, and he played the whole game, so he played ahead of Lachie Jones, who a lot of people have in their defence at the moment as a rookie, but it looks to me that Bergman may be the option. He may get the game time that he's taken away from Jones. So I liked Bergman. He's gone up to 10% ownership. We'll see how he goes. We'll see if he's named round one. But I'm happy with him there at the moment. And then we have James Rowe, who everyone has 48% ownership. Small forward from Adelaide, who's pretty impressive on the weekend. I think he kicked a goal and he had plenty of the appeal and applied forward pressure, which is what Adelaide needs in that forward half. So he's a lock. He's probably the biggest lock for the rookies in the forward line. So I'm still happy to have him on field. And then we have Brockman from Hawks, who kicked 3 goals in the first half against North. He's got some speed, some real electric speed, some pressure. Looks like he can find the footy as well, enough to score quite well, but he probably needs to hit the scoreboard every match to get his score around 60, 70 points. But he looks to me, he'll play a lot of senior football this year. He looks pretty impressive. He's got 29% ownership. He did fade out in the second half, but that's what's going to happen with these rookies and these small forwards. They're going to pop up sometimes for 5 to 10 minute spurts, and then they're just going to disappear for a quarter or two. Just got to enjoy the ride. And then finally we just have Josh Tracy, who came on in the second half, only scored 27 or something points. But with the injury to Lob, it looks that Meek and Tracy could both play in the same team. Tracy's more the forward, Meek will ruck, so Tracy will take Lob's position. He's 102,000, so it's a pretty appealing price. 42% ownership. I don't think he's going to be that great of a scorer, but I'm not too sure what other rookies I can afford there at the moment in the forward line. And as you can see here, I've only got $19,000 left, so there's not much changing I can really do. So that's why I said Dangerfield to Butters, short up to Ryan. It's more than getting the rookies right, just making sure that we keep an eye on who's debuting for round one days out, because we don't want to get the rookies wrong. Once you got them wrong, you can't get any cash generation and you're behind straight away. So we'll see what happens there. But for now, that's my second team update. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a pretty similar structure of what I've been doing the last few years. So I've got 3 premium defenders, 5 premium midfielders, the 2 premium rucks, and at the moment I've got the 2 premium forwards, which seems to be the go because there is plenty of mid-price options in the forward line with Zeeble, Impey, even Paddy Dow and Joe Danaher, so I can see a lot of people taking that route. But I'm pretty happy with what I've got here at the moment. It looks pretty stable and it looks like it will score a lot of points. I believe my midfield is my strongest line, as I always want it to be, because that's who scores them the most points. And the picks I've got there, Neil, Oliver, Mccrae, they've been some of the best scorers of the last 3 years. So the durability is not a concern and the scoring potential isn't a concern as well. So I haven't decided to take risks on Taranto and Matty Rowell and Sam Walsh and players that we're not quite certain on if they can score 110 consistently. So I've just gone back to the old faithful, which does work a treat, I believe. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments on what you think. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm always willing to reply to them and interact in some good conversation. Like always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Catch you later.